My name is John Barker. I live right here in East Setauket and have for 35 years. But before that, before that, I, I hope they're honking for us peaceniks. The bad news would be if they were honking for the right wingers across the street. Anyway, before that, I lived in New York during this in the '60s when the peace movement was really huge and vital, and we all participated. I mean, vast, huge numbers of people participated in it. And the war in Vietnam eventually was brought to a close. Uh, Now we have issues of equal importance, particularly in terms of the climate and the Middle East, and yet it doesn't seem to inspire the same kind of passion. So I'm hoping, and I am here, to be at least a symbol of that passion and part of its revival if it comes, because we have to change things.
Good morning. I'm Bill McNulty from Setauket, just around the corner from where we're standing today, which is on the corner of Route 25A and Bennett's Road. And this is a place that we've occupied for about the last 12 or 13 years. And it's the North Country Peace Group. And our objective has been to call attention to the unbridled violence that our country has been engaged in and to suggest that there is another way. Now, today happens to be a special day because after we leave here, we're going into Port Jefferson. And Port Jefferson is a village where we show up about twice a year. On this particular occasion, we're going to be marching on what formerly we used to mark as the anniversary of the beginning of the Iraq War, but we've moved beyond that now. And we're taking up many of the issues that face us today, that cause us to ask the question, among many, what has our country become? As the purveyor of massive violence throughout the world, in the name of what, we don't know. So we will be marching through the streets of Port Jefferson to try to, first of all, declare the village as a village of peace on this particular day, and try to engage anybody who's out on this beautiful spring day walking about on some of the issues. Many of our people that we meet are very ignorant of reality, and many of our people who've spent a lot of time researching and studying and interconnecting with one another can offer a different slant on things. And that's what our whole effort will be today in Port Jefferson.
Hello, my name is Jean. Hello, my name is Jean Finch, and I'm here today standing for peace and justice because I believe war is not the answer.
Hello, my name is Jesse Davenport. I'm from Port Jefferson, New York. I was actually raised here in the Free Village area, and we're here today for protesting for peace and justice, and to hopefully, point out to people that there's a better way of taking care of issues other than having to go to war. And that's what we're here about. It's all about the peace, and we have to have good peace, for this country and stuff, and stop all this nonsense with all these wars. And I just wish that all the parties could just get together and do everything peaceful.
My name is Paul Hart. I live near here in Stony Brook. I'm a member of the North Country Peace Group. We've been standing out here since December of 2002. Initially, it was to protest the invasion of Iraq. We didn't think it was such a good idea. It turned out we were right. But I think in that time, but standing here for God knows how many years, I've learned to be it's been a great teaching experience in nonviolence, because I found out the hard way. You just being silent, nonviolent is the way to go. Don't start yelling at people. Doesn't accomplish anything. I think we try to stay though on the moral high ground. I really don't have much to say. I'm sorry. I'm not really a man of many words. Deep thoughts, but not many words. Deep convictions. We're basically trying to fight the idea of everything has to be solved with violence. All violence does is create more violence. I'm a veteran, Vietnam era veteran. I went in. I reluctantly supported the war. Since then I've really changed my some of my thinking, You say I was a veteran, but I was lucky. I went to Germany. I went to instead of Nam. I had some of my school chums went to Nam. Some of them came back okay. Some of them didn't. One guy I worked with got killed. Another guy from my town, who was a year ahead of me in high school, captain of the football team, married the homecoming queen, bought it in Nam. Too bad. Waste of a good life.
Hi, my name is John Robinson. I live right around here. I've been coming out here to the corner on Saturday mornings since the fall of 2002 in opposition to the invasion of Iraq. And I've continued to come out here week after week because I am incredibly disturbed that we are using basically our resources for all sorts of destructive purposes as opposed to building purposes. There's so many things that need to be done. Our whole physical and intellectual infrastructure needs rebuilding, and we're pouring funds into destroying and killing. So I'm out here in opposition to that, and we'll continue to come out here.
Hi, I'm Susan Peretti. I live in Setauket. I'm a longtime member of the North Country Peace Group. I'm standing on the corner where our group has been standing for peace and justice since December of 2002. That was before the invasion, the U.S.-led invasion against Iraq. And as we know, as the years have gone by, that war, that rush to war was based on a bunch of lies. So we're still standing here because war is still going on. And not only that, but there's so many disturbing results and consequences of the wars. I'm holding a sign that has a picture of some of my friends in Afghanistan that I speak to regularly through a program called the Global Days of Listening. They're the members of the Afghan Peace Volunteers in Kabul, and they're young people who are tired of war. They've lived their entire lives in war, and the drones have that the U.S. drops has unfortunately killed a lot of innocent civilians. And one of the pleas that our friends in Afghanistan has made is that we discontinue this indiscriminate bombing and the destruction of so many civilians, which has created so much instability in Afghanistan, and I'm just speaking about one country here, that it has kind of laid the foundation for the rising of groups like ISIS, these very extreme radical groups. And it's really sad. So I'm here today as we prepare to go on our march and rally, the annual one that we hold every year, because I wanted to bring a picture and their message, which is fly kites, not drones, because in Afghanistan, kite flying is actually quite common, and not as common as it is because there's not a lot of time for young people to do things like fly kites. They're too busy trying to survive. And I also have on a scarf, I just happen to be wearing a scarf that was made from one of the women in Afghanistan that the Afghan Peace Volunteers provide space to and materials to, so that they can earn a few dollars making these scarves with the Afghan Peace Volunteers logo on it. So as we prepare to go on this march and rally in a neighboring Port Jefferson today, I bring with me the spirit of these young people who are so desperate for peace, and their plea to us to please end this occupation and end this war, which has been going on for 13 years and is the longest war in U.S. history. So that's how I'll be marching today. I'll be marching for them. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Robert Poland. I'm from East Setauket, New York. I'm here today, and as I've been here for many Saturdays, because we really feel that our country is moving more and more towards a war, another war in the Middle East especially, and we're very much opposed to this. We think it's counterproductive. We think it makes us less secure, and we're really trying to alert people to what the facts of things are rather than just the opinions of things are. So that's why I'm here.
Hi, I'm Jim Lynch. I live in Miller Place, New York. I'm here because we've been here every year for 13 years. Excuse me. The peace and justice movement on Long Island is alive and well. It's strong. It's futile because we're in an era of permanent, perennial, whatever word you want to use, war. However, we have to keep pushing back. We can't ever give up. And we have to bear witness, if you want to use that term, to the atrocities in our name. It's time to end this nonsense. We're squandering our national treasure overseas, blowing up stuff and disrupting cultures that frankly need to solve their own problems. They know that, we know that, but empire is a very dangerous thing. We are the empire now. We are controlling the world. 180 nations. We have almost 600 military almost 800 military bases in 180 nations. It's time to end the empire. It's time to end perennial war and peace and justice for all of us. And let's get some of our treasure spent here at home. Thank you.
I'm Charlotte Coons. I came all the way from Northport, New York, here to Port Jefferson to participate in this peace vigil. It's a matter of hope. The only thing we have left is hope that some of the things that are happening, like better relations with Cuba, can mitigate some of the horrible things like the Yurkum death camp. And so the only thing we have left in the peace community is the hope that there will not be endless war. And I'd like to read you the poem by Emily Dickinson called Hope is the Thing with Feathers. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that would abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Hope is a thing with feathers.
Hi, I'm Myrna Gordon. I'm a resident of Port Jefferson. I'm also a member of the North Country Peace Group. We are here in Port Jefferson Village today to promote our mission, which is to prevent perpetual war, to stop the drone attacks on innocent families, women, children, and so on. We're here to tell people about the inequity regarding the economic situation in our country, how disproportionate it is regarding student loans and so many other issues. We're also concerned about just the right for all citizens in our country to have the right to vote. There are many, many districts in our country where the Voting Rights Act is almost nil. They're making it harder and harder for people, even students on campus, to go to a polling place on campus and have a place for them to vote. And we're hoping that with all of this redistricting, gerrymandering in the country, that people really tune into it. Also, I want to mention the fact that on April 15th, which we think is tax day, Okay, there are going to be demonstrations all over the country for people to raise the minimum wage. They call it 15 on 15, so that's $15 minimum wage on April 15th. You're going to see this all over the country. Let's support all of these workers in our country who are barely making a living wage. Going into a restaurant, it's important that you know where your tips are going. Are these workers being given the tips that perhaps the servers receive? Ask. Do not be afraid to ask your server how your tips are being applied to all of the workers in this restaurant or organization. And do what you can. Get out the vote. Protect all of these things that we've been working on for the past 13 years. We're here in Port Jefferson. We hope to attract a lot of people. And please join us every Saturday morning on 25A and Bennett's Road in Setauket from 11 to 12. Rain, snow, sleet, we're there. Come join us. North Country Peace Group.
My name is Vinny Menace. I'm a student at Stony Brook University, and I'm here to promote nonviolent solutions to different problems we see in the local government and the federal government.
Hi, I'm Regina Casale. I'm from Setauket. I'm an educator here in Long Island in Suffolk County, and I'm here to support the Peace Group. Peace, economic justice, civil rights, all of that is very important today as well. Today, it's just, I'm here to support. It's really important, especially if we want our kids to inherit a better world. We need to be here and advocate for peace. Thanks.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Jose Lucero, and I'm here to support the Peace Group because I believe the protesters is going to make it create conscious in the people, and we want to contribute to make a little changes. And I'm here on behalf of my family, and also on behalf of my the community immigrant, because I believe we need to have an immigration reform really soon, because we cannot live in the shadows anymore. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rose Zaki, and I'm here. I'm from Ronkonkoma, and I'm here with the Veterans for Peace, North Country Peace Group, South Country Peace Group. Every peace group I'm here with, Food Not Bombs, Community Solidarity. We're here because this is going on too long. This war on drugs and this war it's become a war on poverty. And the people that are getting killed are the civilians. And it's multi-million-dollar making for the corporate. So we're just here still crying for peace, and it is possible.
And I live here in Port Jefferson, and I've been marching and standing with this group for about 10 years. And I believe in everything they stand for, all the different issues that they stand for. They're very dedicated people.
Another issue that we address. And of course we address the issues of immigration. And maybe later today, as we approach the harbor, when a ferry arrives, we can greet the immigrants who come across the water. And we can let them know that we don't regard them as coming from another planet, but they are welcome in our midst. That type of a message can alert people to the fact that there are realities that are deeply embedded in our hearts, brought out by such comments as, since when did the common good become a bad idea? A carryover from our Occupy days, and we have several of our Occupy people here today. And Occupy must come back. We are declaring this public space. There are no public spaces to be heard of. They are all in the hands of corporate entities, and you pay a fee. Even in Brookhaven, you pay a fee, but it's only $5, so we'll take it, and maybe they'll raise it to 10 and 20. But this is a public space where we all can communicate with each other, and where we can communicate with the passers-by, and welcome them into the village today to become part of this peaceful village. We have declared it a peace village today. And by virtue of our interactions, we can let people know or get a feeling for or a sense of how it could be. Many years I went to Fort Benning and spent a week or two down there as that vigil took place. And I became so enmeshed in a group of people who all you had to do was say hello and they told you their whole life story. That's the way things could be. But there are so many barriers that are placed before us. And it's up to us to break down those barriers. So that's part of what we're doing today in a peaceful, nonviolent way. And we welcome everyone from all of the groups and hope that we can reach a point where we can work effectively together. And now I guess we'll continue to circulate through the village.
This is that point where we work together.
But the quote speaks for itself. So it's fine to that it's way even way,
But yeah, if you can just move that out, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go back to the corner and then we're going to cross the street, but before we go, let's take a look at the post office across the way here. Post office, of course, is under the gun to be privatized, as so many other things are, to be commodified, as we live through the tightening vice of this corporate security state. So whatever you can do in terms of your postal employees, post office service, part of a constitutional guarantee meant to bring this country together going way back historically. Tell the folks at the counter when you go in to mail a letter, hey, we know your plight. You're being forced to pay your pension fund 75 years in advance. There is no other institution connected with this government in public or private life that is required to do that. It's aimed at bankrupting them so that UPS and Express and whatever else can come in. And when they come in and they charge you more, they can give you less service with fewer people. So stand with these guys. They're pretty good people. Let's go to the corner and continue our march in our educational project.
The posh one.
She don't want to run tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's like double justice.
It's nice, whatever, like third hurricane.
Oh my!
Hey, New York, different people coming.
Did you just happen to be there and you saw us?
Yeah. Oh no.
Right, it's all about encryption.
We will not attempt to sing that song again this year. We did that in the past. So we'll continue our effort. Maybe once again just going around a little bit and think of some of these issues. Racial equality, my goodness, there is the day goes by that we don't see a shooting like that one in South Carolina, or the terrible beating out in California when they apprehended an individual and beat him and everybody jumped on. When we find out that these demonstrations of violence that are being carried out in the name of the empire, they have an effect on how behavior is carried out in this country. And each and every time when I see one of these overuses of police force being used, I wonder how many are veterans who have returned from Iraq? And are they now looking at this country and the people in it as being domestic terrorists, people who can perhaps be dealt with in the same way that Iraqis and Afghanis were dealt with? I hope not. But that's part of the healing process that we have to go through. And we're very fortunate today, later in the program, to have Mac Beaker with us. And Mac has a lot to say about veterans, their needs, and their attempts to recover. And it's our job to help ease those burdens that are placed on people. But certainly the level of hate, the level of division, divisiveness, reigns supreme. So that's part of what we are about, a march to end war and violence. So we will continue our march.
Thank you, everybody. And let's remember, we now have 10,000 Americans in Afghanistan and Iraq right now. More than 10,000. We have American soldiers, we have American mercenaries, and the war just goes on and on and on. At this time, I'd like to introduce one of our speakers. Rose Zaki is an active member of the Suffolk Peace Network and of Community Solidarity, which runs the wonderful Food Not Bombs program. Rose.
Thank you. Real quick, I've been involved with Food Not Bombs for about 7 years now. Food Not Bombs is community solidarity. We finally got our not-for-profit ID, so we're having a fundraiser. We pick up groceries from stores 24/7. A store will, their electricity will go out and they'll call us and we'll come with our own cars, our own gas, you know, at all times of the day, night. I'll leave work early sometimes to get the food, and we get it out to the people. If we're not having a food share that particular time, we bring it to shelters. Different organizations that need food will accept food. We are in desperate need of a van. We're having a fundraiser, and I have lots of flyers here that will tell you everything about it. Food Not Bombs, communitysolidarity.org. You can go to the website, find out, answer all your questions, and what we need, and please come to me for a flyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Once again, that's communitysolidarity.org. You know, the whole issue of food insecurity is just such a shameful indictment of our society. I saw one of the signs that talked about the relative amounts of wealth that different people have. It gave world numbers. Just looking at the United States, right now, 400 people, 400 hold as much wealth as 150 million of us. That's half the country. And it's not just a concern in terms of how people live. It's a concern in terms of our democracy. Let's think about this for just 1 minute. Right now, everybody gets one vote. One vote. Sounds good. But there are only a handful of people, there is just a handful of people who get to spend millions and millions of dollars influencing elections. That is a fundamental problem with our democracy. It weakens our democracy for people to have that much influence. I see the sign here for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Lots of really important concerns are indicated. American jobs, food safety, financial regulations, labor rights. These are things, environmental concerns, that the Trans-Pacific Partnership will cause to be subverted to what is best for corporate profit. Again, it's a question of democracy. If the TPP is passed, corporations will have the legal right to override environmental laws, labor laws, and safety laws. It's a huge, huge coup for corporations. That is not democracy. It's something that we have to address. And now I'm very happy to introduce our next speaker, Josello Lucero.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. I think it's one of my issues is I always fight for peace. You know, I'm here to represent and fight for peace, and talking about minorities also, because every black matter, every Hispanic, every human being matter. I think it's the moment to stop discrimination against minorities and against every human being, because that cannot continue anymore. I want to stop. Doesn't matter how many years ago it took me for me. Maybe I can die one day, but peace always going to be in my mind, and I think there should be in each one of you peace. Big applause for peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucero, Josello, and for all the work that you do. Thank you. And somewhere here is our friend Mac Bika. Where is Mac hiding? Okay. Mac, as we know, is the coordinator of Long Island Veterans for Peace, and we always look forward to hearing from Mac. Here you go.
No pressure here now. I'm always so privileged to come here and support Bob and Susan and North Country. It's such important work that really needs to be done, and unfortunately there's just we few. They waited for me to speak before they did it. It's a commentary. Oh, is that what it is? It's a commentary. As some of you may know, we are celebrating right now the congressionally mandated commemoration, better celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. We as Vietnam veterans are concerned, at least, that the truth be told about where we were and what we did. And I mean, if you look at the congressionally funded website that they set up to deal with this, you would be appalled, I think, about how history is being modified and changed. History has always been changed, and certainly it's nothing new to change the history of the Vietnam War. But I think now it's critical, it's vital that those of us who have seen it in reality need to speak out. So we've started Veterans for Peace has started another website called Full Disclosure. And on Full Disclosure, we attempt to unveil or balance out the lies and the deceptions that are being told on the official commemoration website. We don't really think that what's going on is a desire to honor the veterans, to remember the sacrifices of the veterans, because if that was true, we wouldn't be sending more people to become the casualties of war. We wouldn't be sending people to fight futile wars for profit. I mean, if we truly valued veterans and we truly valued lives of not only of our own people, but of the people that were sent to kill, people whose death we have to live with for the rest of our lives, we wouldn't be having these wars. As many of you know, some 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Could you imagine that? 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Now, I don't care whether you're pro-war, anti-war, right-wing, left-wing. That is a freaking national disgrace. And we should all be outraged by that, especially when people come up to me and say, "Thank you for your service." Oh, baloney! Thank me for my service. You don't even know what it's about to thank me for my service. How about taking care of the people who come home for these wars? I mean, it hasn't changed any. We have still over 35% of the veterans returning from Afghanistan and from the Middle East who are now are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. and the VA is still inadequately treating these people. While we mouth all sorts of wonderful, laudable, admiring phrases about our veterans and how we support them. You know, the best way to support a veteran is to end war. The best way for you to help veterans is to end war. Don't ever thank a veteran for their service. At least not one like me, because you know, to be honest, I performed no service for you in this country, or especially for the Vietnamese. There was no service being done. I went there and killed people and blew shit up, and that was the extent of my involvement. And for what? For nothing. For nothing, for corporate profit. And the same is going on today in Afghanistan and Iraq. We celebrated a major victory in Iraq, didn't we? We walked out of there saying, oh, how wonderful everything is, when we were paying people off not to shoot us. And then once we stopped paying them, well, everyone went back to shooting people. So it's just a futile, phony facade of caring about people's lives and caring about democracy. If we truly cared about democracy, we wouldn't be forming all these coups and overthrowing democratically elected governments all around the world. So I just want to thank you for coming, and thank you for supporting peace. I think peace is probably more important now than it's ever been. As I said in the last one, maybe last time I spoke here, maybe we can get frustrated about the need for us to keep coming here year after year. And I've been doing this for going on now 45 years, and I'm kind of tired of it, to be honest. And my hope is that someday we don't have to do this anymore. But you know what? It doesn't look like we're going in the right direction. But and I'm not as optimistic as my friend was about hope. And hope is just when there's no other things to cling to. There's no reality to cling to. So let's rave to the grave. Let's continue to fight until we can't fight anymore. I'm going to fight until they have to throw dirt on top of me. I don't care if there's victories or not. I'm going to celebrate my opposition to what I know is wrong, and I'm going to celebrate peace, and I welcome you to join along with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mac. These wars are immoral, these wars are illegal, these wars are promoted by the military-industrial complex, the corporations that make millions and millions of dollars a year off the war machine, the corporations that shape our foreign policy. So much comes back to democracy. Real support, bring them home. Let's hear from our friend Bill McNulty. And then we will have some brief speakers talking through the open mic in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Bob. I got tangled up in the woodland over here. It's something to hear Mac address the reality of what's going on. You know, as I do my show at Stony Brook each week on Thursday, which I invite you to listen into between the hours of 11 and 2, I always try to develop a theme of one kind or another. One of those themes might be that the most revolutionary thing that you can do is to name reality. That's just what Mac did. And another might be, we have the best government that money can buy. And those things go hand in hand, because the government that we have, which is bought and paid for by those corporate interests, that's what theoretically serves us. That's the body that makes the decisions with all of those lofty platitudes that Mac was referring to, that result in sending young men and women off to countries to try to survive. And of course, the question that has never been answered, that Cindy Sheen asked many years ago after her son was killed, because George Bush had said that he died for a noble cause, and she went directly to his ranch in Crawford. I went there. Some of us went there because she sought the answer to that question. What was the noble cause that my son died for? And there is none. But they thoroughly obscure that reality. with all of the notions of patriotism and all of the glory of past wars and all of the beautiful uniforms and the bands and the anthems. They hide it. And then they keep us deceived and distracted. And you know, it gets to us after a while. Even if we are not conscious of these things having an impact on us, they get to us. And sometimes you think that your efforts like this are futile, and then you resort to what Rose is doing, which is wonderful, primary service work, because there are people hurting all around us. And you seek to ease that hurt, and you seek to cure those veterans. But then there are others who will have the image in their minds, perhaps, of the village with the river running through, and the people of the village noticing bodies floating down the river, and being good people like all of them are. They fish the bodies out, and they heal those that are healable, and they bury those that are dead. But then there comes along somebody who says, hey, let's go up the river, and let's find out where these bodies are coming from. So that's another phase of what we do. There's danger in that, there's risk in that, but we do it. And I think in those actions, you find great hope. And this action today, it's not that hard. It's not too dangerous. And over the years, we've made inroads in this village because at first we were not that welcome. So we'll continue the effort. I just want to close with one thing. Let's dwell on this theme today, okay? If you constantly find new people to kill, to torture, to invade, and to bomb, it starts to seep into your domestic culture. And it's within our culture today, and all you need to do is look at the police actions, all you need to do is look at the militarized police forces, all you have to do is look at the people who so quickly dismiss those that are hurting, those that are hungry, those that are in need. And whereas it's a good idea to bring the soldiers home as quickly as we can, if we work carefully and diligently, I think we can encourage many not to go. And that should be part of our work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bill. That concludes our scheduled speakers, but we do have another 10 minutes or so where a number of people have asked if they could speak. Anyone who would like to speak briefly, if you would like to make an announcement or just speak for a minute or two, we welcome that. And let me just see who would like to do that. Okay, we have a USB plug. Here you go.
I think we all need to, every now and then, realize we have progressive radio on Long Island. We have progressive talk programs on Long Island in Suffolk County that serve this area. So whether it's Mort McCluskey's program on Monday at 11 a.m., whether it's my program Tuesday at 1 p.m., whether it's Bill's program at 11 a.m., Bill, nod. 11 to 1. Whether it's Chris Sorochin on Friday at 1:30. We have progressive talk radio on Long Island. Support WUSB. Thank you.
Okay, and Teresa's going to speak to us.
Hi everybody, my name is Teresa and I belong to a community advocacy group called Parent Leadership Initiative. Part of being affiliated with that program is that each individual who joins needs to create a community project. My community project is the awareness and education of social inequalities and the need to create equalities among us, among age, among race, sexual orientation, religious worship, financial status, disabilities. There's a tremendous amount of young people who have no idea what's going on in our nation because they're not involved. They feel like they won't be heard and that they can't make a difference. And I'm a person who is a young person who believes that my voice can make a difference, but definitely not alone. And the volumes of a group can speak louder than words. As a young person listening to every person here, I'm an absolute sponge, appreciating that the people, all these people that are here today, take hours and days and weeks and months of labor, of work, of researching, trying to find statistics for my community project, searching on the internet between what's truthful, what's a lie. How do I know what to believe? How do you know what to believe? And how can we expect younger generations to know what to believe if we're not setting the record straight for them? Their parents are going to say, don't like this person, do this, do that. But how do they identify themselves? How do they see past color? How do they see past religion if we're not setting an example for them? We need to teach them, young people, old people, all people. Individuals and families make a community. A community is not a separate identity. It's all of us.
Thank you so much, Teresa. We've got Lisa, Lem, Charlotte, and then we'll see if we have anybody else. Lisa, you want to come up, please?
Hi, thank you. My name is Lisa Oldendorp, and I'm an organizer for MoveOn.org, but I'm also a member of the Long Island Progressive Coalition Network. We work with many different groups trying to promote progressive issues on Long Island, within New York State, and also on the federal level. Bob made a comment about TPP as very, very dangerous for our country. I just want to tell everybody that the latest word on the fast-track bill is that it will drop next week, possibly Monday, in the Senate. What do you mean drop? Okay, it's going to come out of committee, okay? They're hoping to have a vote on it by the end of the week. For those who don't know, fast track is a way, started by President Nixon, of pushing through some of the worst trade deals that we have ever made in this country, including NAFTA, WTO, Chorus, and the rest. Your Congressman, Zeldin, signed a letter to President Obama on March the 6th saying that he supports TPP and he supports fast track. We were out there last week at his office telling him that he's on the wrong track and that he needs to think about that and vote against the fast track bill. I hope that every one of you will call Congressman Zeldin every day this week, every day next week. The bill probably will go to the House sometime next week or the week after. We have no hope of stopping it in the Senate. Our only hope of stopping this terrible fast track bill is in the House. Okay, we have to stop it in the House. So call Congressman Zeldin, call him at his local office in Patchogue, call him in Washington, D.C. Tell him that there's no such thing as a good fast track bill. There's no such thing as good trade promotion authority. It gives the president far too much power and the trade representatives and the corporations to push whatever they damn please through and screw the rest of us and the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Probably the easiest way to contact your member of Congress or your United States senators, you take a look on the back of the flyer. It's got the number for the Congressional Switchboard. You ask to speak to the office of your member of Congress or of your United States Senator, whether it's Lee Zeldin is your congressman or somebody else, and Senator Gillibrand, Senator Schumer. It just takes a very simple message. All you have to say is you give your name, you're a constituent, and you are opposed to fast track on the TPP. They check it off that they got another call with that position. Easy to do, and it does make a difference. Before I ask Charlotte to speak to us, is there anybody else that's going to want to speak after that? Okay. And okay. All right. All right. Charlotte Coons, one of the founders of Code Pink Long Island.
on Memorial Day weekend at Jones Beach, they run an air show that is the antithesis of what Memorial Day should be about. The Blue Angels come. There are planes that drop watermelons as bombs into the ocean. And Pax Christi, the Catholic Peace Group, in conjunction with many other groups, holds a vigil every Saturday of that Memorial Day weekend. We are asking you to come early, 9 a.m., and go to parking field 4 and come on through. Join us as we commemorate the real meaning of Memorial Day with Code Pink memorial ribbons and the portraits of the Long Islanders that have died. So that's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, 9 a.m., parking field 4. Come and join us.
Thank you so much. And Will has an announcement for us, please.
I'm a better writer than a speaker, so I'm just going to read a thing for the Justice for Kenny collision, which is coming tomorrow. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Kenny Lazo was killed by 5 police officers in Bayshore, Long Island, and it's been 7-year anniversary tomorrow. So I'm asking anybody if they would like to come from 12 to 4. We're going to be meeting at the Bayshore Police Station in Suffolk County, and we're just going to demand justice and Black Lives Matter.
Thank you so much. Bill's going to speak to us, and then I have 1 or 2. Oh, Lem, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We had you on the list, and then I lost sight of it. Here you go.
Hi. Of course, I'm primarily here on the Black Lives Matter issue, which is very personal to me, but Black Lives Matter. I just had a point I wanted to make about the peace thing, that I'm especially concerned now with the big push to, like, the attack on the agreement with Iran and the more aggression, because I think over the last years that more and more the awareness of inequality as it has seeped into the general public and into the general political arena, and people become more and more aware of it. I think one of the response of the right to that awareness is going to be a call for war. You know, when people get upset about, people become more and more discover local economic things, then you push for a war. And so that I just think that we really need to, people really need to be active and vigilant now on the peace issues.
Thank you, Lem, and again, my apologies. Bill has a couple of words for us, and I have a quick announcement, and we're all set. Here you go.
Just quickly, Susan just reminded me that Reverend Barber is coming to our town. He's the fellow who's been leading the Model Mondays. He will be at Stony Brook on the 29th of April. He was supposed to come earlier, but he fell on the ice and broke his knee or something along those lines. So anyway, it's at the Student Activity Center. Oh, 28. Maybe you better check the website just to verify. The 28th of April. It's in the Student Activity Center. It's in their main auditorium. So that's happening. Now, I just wanted to close. I had a couple of thoughts before that I cut short, but Mac mentioned the Vietnam War. You know, I think we might have to give thought to changing our tactics to a certain extent. When Nixon and Kissinger were standing inside the White House and looked at all those people outside on the other side of the gate, he said, "Henry, they're going to break through and get us." I think we got to try to get them. I think we got to put some oomph into our movements and look for ways that we can connect with those union people, with the teachers. Look at all these signs about refusing the test. People are standing up and resisting in so many different ways. I think we got to put a little scare into them. And then along those same lines, when we have to, because I guess that's all we have to turn to our legislators. These are the guys that gave us the 5 trade agreements so far. What makes you think they're going to do differently now? And I'm reminded of a song that I played last week because it was Easter, and it's called Jesus, the Long-Haired Radical Socialist Jew. And there's one, and go home and look it up on your computer and listen to it. And there's one verse, goes like this: Jesus hung with a low-life crowd like you. But those working stiffs sure did him proud. Some were murderers, thieves, and whores. But at least they didn't do it as legislators. Whoa, baby.